So, UFC 297 is coming up this weekend, and we have a banger main event between Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis. So, I'm going to be breaking down the whole card, giving my full card predictions and breakdowns. So, starting off with the first fight of the night, we have Malcolm Gordon versus Jimmy Flick. Now, this is an interesting fight, to be honest. This is actually an interesting fight. Because the way Jimmy Flick loses fights, Jimmy Flick is going out there and getting KO'd. You know, he only gets KO'd in his losses. And the thing is, how does Malcolm Gordon lose his fights? He gets KO'd in fights. He got KO'd by Jake Hadley. He did get stubbed by Muhammad Bakayev, to be fair, but then he got KO'd by Sumadurgi, sorry. Amir Albazi choked him. He got KO'd again, got KO'd again, got KO'd again. So he's not got the greatest chin. This is honestly such a hard fight to predict, I'm not going to lie. Like, Jimmy Flick hasn't looked very good since coming back. Like, if we're looking at Jimmy Flick, you know, he got KO'd by Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson doesn't really finish many people. And then he got KO'd by Alexandra Costa, which, no hate there. Alexandra Costa is pretty good. But he did beat Cody Durden by flying triangle choke. So this is generally just a really interesting fight to look at. But who am I even going to go with here? I don't know who I'm going to go with. This is actually harder to pick than I thought it would be. Jimmy Flick's 33 years old. Malcolm Gordon. Like, because Gordon's been chinned so many times, but like Jimmy Flick's also been chinned a lot of times. Malcolm Gordon, he is pretty good though at times. Like, he broke Dennis Bondar's arm, but he did drop Bondar in that fight. He beat Francisco Figueiredo. He did give Muhammad Makayev a lot of problems in that fight. Like, he almost had, if there was like a few more seconds, he might have choked out Muhammad Makayev. But who's got the better striking here? I'm going to go Malcolm Gordon. I'm not very confident in it, but I will pick Malcolm Gordon. But I do think Jimmy Flick's got a really good shot here. But honestly, generally a really hard fight to pick. He's got a 70-inch reach. How long is Jimmy Flick's reach? Yeah, I'm going to go with Malcolm Gordon. I think he'll get this one done. I'm going to go by KO. Yeah, I'm going to go KO or TKO. Actually, no, I'm going to go decision. I'll go decision. I don't. Malcolm Gordon's knocked people down, but he's not really a great striker. Neither is Jimmy Flick. So I don't know. This is going to be an interesting fight, but I'm going to go. I'm going to go Malcolm Gordon here. Then we got Jasmine Jazuda Vicious versus Priscilla Cacarera. This is a really interesting fight as well. Obviously, Priscilla is just a powerful fighter. That's all she's got. All she's got is power. She has some crazy power as a female fighter, but outside of that, grappling defense isn't very good. So I am going to take Jasmine Jasudavicius here to win with her grappling, but she didn't look very good her last fight against Tracy Cortez. She looked really slow out there. It looked like she was moving in like slow motion. And Tracy Cortez looked very good in that fight, but I think I can trust Jasmine Jasudavicius to get this one done with her grappling. Because even though she's losing fights, she's not like getting KO'd in these fights. But again, getting KO'd in women's MMA is very rare. And Priscilla does have that like finishing, that rare finishing trait. But I am going to take Jasmine Jasudavicius here. Then we have Johan Lanez versus Sam Patterson. Now this is a really interesting fight because I don't think either of these guys are really that great. But if I had to guess, obviously, this is Sam Patterson's first time fighting in the welterweight division. He's been a lightweight his whole career. Actually, I don't know if this is his first time ever fighting a welterweight. Maybe he's fought a welterweight in the past, but he's been typically a lightweight his whole career. Lightweight. So yeah, he's never actually fought at welterweight except for his amateur career, where most of his amateur fights were at welterweight. But I'm gonna take Johan Lainez here just because Sam Patterson is still. I don't think his striking defense is gonna be that much better, and he did get fucking brutally KO'd by Yanal Ashmuz. Like, Ashmuz really badly KO'd him. And Johan Lainez isn't that great, but we all know he does have a very, very slick left hook. He got Justin Burleson with it on Dana White Contender Series. He did drop Gabe Green with it. I think Lanez can get this one done. I think he can land. Like, Lanez is massive for welterweight. Like, out of all the people from the give Sam Patterson for his welterweight debut, they gave him a massive power hitter. If Sam Patterson's got a shot here, maybe he can grapple to a victory, but I just think because of his striking defense, he's probably going to get caught with a left hook here. This is probably going to age really badly because I really don't rate Johan Lanez. I really don't think he's good, but I do think he's going to get this one done here. Then we have Gillian Robertson versus Poliana Viana. Now, Poliana Viana, how you doing? But, she's very good. She is good. But I think we all know that there is ways to beat her, and the way that you do beat Poliana Viana is with the grappling, and I think that's what we're going to see in this fight. I think we're going to see her get subbed here by Gillian Robertson. Now, apparently in an interview she said she's going to try and get a KO here, but I don't think she's going to try and do that. That'd be a bit of a silly mistake to make. But I do think Gillian Robertson will be able to take down Poliana Viana and get her out of there with a submission. Then moving on, we got Serhai Saidi versus Ramon Tavares. These two fought on Dana White Contender Series. There was a bit of an early stoppage, but I didn't think it was a bad stoppage. But like it was looking like Sadi was on his way to getting this one done. And I am going to take Sahi here again. I just think Ramon Tavares is good, but his chin is very sus. And obviously, he did get KO'd. Well, not KO'd, but he did get dropped in that fight against Sadi. And I do see that sort of happening again. So I'm going to take Sadi here to get this one done over Ramon Tavares. But it should be a really good fight. Now moving on, we have Charles Jourdain versus Sean Woodson. This is an interesting fight. Obviously, Sean Woodson is the most disgustingly built fighter in the UFC. He's built like Slenderman. It is just gross to see. Like he's built like Peter Griffin when he got like he was all legs. Like that is Sean Woodson. He's all legs. And Charles Jourdain, he's very funny. He's a very funny guy. But honestly, breaking this fight down, it's a very interesting fight because of Sean Woodson's very like long length and everything. But I don't think Woodson has a very good chin. Now, he has a 10-inch reach advantage, 9-inch reach advantage here, but I don't think that's going to matter too much here. His chin's not that good. His grappling defense isn't that good either. I'm going to go with Charles Jourdain. I think he can actually, like, hurt Sean Woodson in this fight. Like, Woodson was getting really badly beaten up in the fight against, what was his name? Luis Saldana. Against Luis Saldana, he was really badly getting beaten up in that fight. Also, where is Luis Saldana been? He just came in, beat the shit out of Woodson, and dipped. But honestly, Woodson's just, I don't know, weirdly built for this division. I know he's only got one loss technically, but like Saldana was really beating him up. And if it wasn't for a bunch of illegal knees, he would have been out. He would have lost like by far because there was like two times he almost got knocked out in that fight, and he got illegally kneed both times, and then it was a draw because of that. I think Charles Jourdain can hurt him in this fight, and I think he can get him out of there. So I'm going to go with Charles Jourdain over Sean Woodson here. Sean Woodson, very good boxer, very long, but I think Charles Jourdain will be able to negate that here. And I think if he lands any good shots on Woodson's chin, I think he drops him. Then we have Brad Katona versus Garrett Armfield. Now this is a really interesting fight between these two. Garrett Armfield had a good performance in his last fight at UFC Singapore, but like that fight, it was against Toshihiro Kazama, who's not really like the greatest guy, if we're going to be honest. And he did go out there and KO him though, and Garrett Armfield looked good, but Brad Katona looked really good, and I feel like he looked very good against a much better guy in Cody Gibson. Like I think Cody Gibson's a much better fighter, in my opinion. Obviously, that's sort of MMA math, but I feel like Brad Katona is just like a better Garrett Armfield. Maybe this is gonna age badly, but like Brad Katona is legitimately very good. Like he is a very good fighter. So I'm gonna go with Brad Katona here. I think he can put on a really good pace here, and I think this fight's gonna be crazy. But I'm gonna go Brad Katona by decision. Then moving on, we got Arnold Allen versus Movsar Evloev. Seems like how well people in Tapology going. So they're actually going with Allen. It seems like most people, though, are going with Movsar Evloev in this fight. And I really don't understand why. I generally don't think Movsar Evloev is really that good. Like, I really don't. I don't think he is as good as people make him out to be. Like, people make him out to be all the dark horse, Movsar Evloev, the dark horse of the division and all this stuff, but I really don't think he's that great. And I don't just mean this because of the Diego Lopez fight, but like generally, if you go look at his fights and everything, like outside of Dan Ige, he's having competitive fights with everyone he fought. Hakeem Dawodu rocked him in the third round. Nick Lentz made a competitive fight, which I thought Movsar clearly won, but still. Mike Grundy almost guillotined him. Enrique Barzola arguably beat him. Like, he's just making all these fights very competitive. And, like, I don't know. Arnold Allen's very good. Arnold Allen's good. Losing to Max Holloway doesn't mean you're bad. Like, Arnold Allen's very good. Sorry, I got a really itchy nose for some reason. I think I might be catching a cold or something, or fever. Hay fever or something. But anyway, yeah, going on, like, he beat Dan Hooker, beat Sadiq Yusuf, he beat Nick Lentz. He sort of blinded him in that fight as well. Like, I know he doesn't get a lot of finishes, but I think he can land a lot of big shots on Movsar Evloev in this fight, and I think he can get this one done. I really do. I think Arnold Allen can just get his offense off on Movsar Evloev. And I think he can hurt him. I think he can drop him a few times. I think this can look very similar to like the Sadiq Yusuf fight when it comes to like Arnold Allen's not throwing much offense, but I think he can like drop Movsar like he did Sadiq Yusuf and then sort of win the rounds off knockdowns. So I'm going to go Arnold Allen by decision, but I really do think he's going to win this one. I don't understand the Movsar Evloev hype. Is he good? Yeah, but is he, fucking the next big thing in the division? No, I think Ilya Tapiri much better than Movsar Evloev. But who knows? Maybe Movsar Evloev will prove me wrong, but I'm going to go with Arnold Allen here. Then we have Chris Curtis versus Marc-Andre Barriault. I'm going to take Chris Curtis in this fight. Marc-Andre Barriault is pretty good. Like his style, I like watching him fight. Like his style is very, very, very fun to watch. Just breaks people, beats the shit out of people by breaking them. But like in this fight, against Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis has very good takedown defense. Sorry about that. He has very good takedown defense. And I don't think Marc-Andre Barriault is going to get him down in this fight. And I think Chris Curtis can chin Marc-Andre Barriault. He's got very good boxing. I think if he can defend all these takedown attempts from Marc-Andre Barriault, he can really just, mix up body shots, go to the head, and I think he can KO Marc-Andre Barriault. But this should be a really fun fight. Marc-Andre Barriault's a dog. And maybe he's going to have the power of the Canadian fan base behind him to win this. So maybe that's going to make him more energized or something like that. But I am going to go Chris Curtis. I think Chris Curtis will catch Marc-Andre Barriault in this fight. Then moving on, we have Neil Magny, the Magniator, the fucking gatekeeper himself, Neil Magny versus proper Mike Malott. Now this is a really good fight. I like this fight a lot. It's a good step up for Mike Malott. And honestly, I see some people going with Neil Magny in this fight. I don't understand, honestly. Like, Mike Malott doesn't really use the clinch in this fight, so I don't think he's going to fall into the "You're going to clinch with Neil Magny, clinch with Neil Magny." I'm hypnotizing you guys, by the way. Like, I don't know, it's a weird thing with Neil Magny where he sort of, like, hypnotizes, like, fighters who don't ever fucking clinch to clinch with him, and then he just, "I got you right where I want you, motherfucker." Like, I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird thing Neil Magny does. He can just always bait people into fucking clinching with him. Like, the only way Neil Magny beats you guys is if you clinch with him. So don't clinch with Neil Magny. Kick his legs. But I think Mike Malott's a very smart fighter. Obviously, I think he's a striking coach at Team Alpha Male. I think it is striking coach. So, like, obviously, he's a very smart fighter. He's training all the guys at Team Alpha Male. I think he will kick out the legs of Neil Magny. I think he'll come here with a smart approach. Everyone knows if you're going to beat Neil Magny, you kick out his legs. Because his legs, he can't take leg kicks. You just got to boot out his leg. Ian Gary did it. I think Mike Malott's going to come with a similar game plan here. And I think if he tags Neil Magny on the chin, I think he can KO Neil Magny or even like snatch him up in one of those Team Alpha Male type guillotines. So I am actually pretty confident here with Mike Malott. I see a few people going with Neil Magny because Mike Malott hasn't really beat the greatest guys. And I do agree with that. He hasn't really beat the greatest guys. Adam Fugit's not really that great. Johan Lanez not really that great. Mickey Gall. It's Mickey Gall, but like at the same time, like he's still beating these guys like he should. Like, he's going out there just completely ragdolling Johan Lanez. He beats up Adam Fugit and then gets him in the second round. And Future is a tricky fighter. Like he is a tricky guy sometimes. Like Michael Morales couldn't go in there and instantly finish him, and that was on short notice. Like he is an interesting fighter. And then obviously Mickey Gall was just pretty tough and had never been KO'd before, so that was a really good win there for Mike Malott. I just think he'll catch Neil Magny. Like Neil Magny is a lot older now. Let's not forget Neil Magny's like 38 years old now. 36, okay, never mind, not as old, but still he's an older fighter. I know Mike Malott's no like spring chicken either. He's 32, but he's younger. He's gone through less wear and tear. You know, he's got much less fights than Neil Magny, but he's got a lot of experience. And yeah, I'm gonna go with Mike Malloy here. I think club and sub. I think he's gonna rock Neil Magny and catch him in one of those guillotines. Then we have Raquel Pennington versus Myra Buno Silva. Now this is a really interesting fight to break down. Obviously, the smart money in this fight, you gotta sort of go with Myra Buno Silva. But it is women's MMA, so you really do never know. You just don't know with this sort of things. Like, it is hard to like fully know who is gonna win here. But I am going to go with Mauro Bueno Silva. It's a tough one. It is tough. Like, honestly, this women's bantamweight is like a really bizarre division. But, yeah, I think Buto Silva's going to get this one done. She has really good submissions. I know Pennington's like a clincher. She clinches quite a lot. I just think she's going to clinch too much, and then she's going to get caught in like a ninja choke or something weird like that by Mayra Buno Silva. Because Buno Silva does have some very tricky submissions. So I could just see her maybe catching her in like a ninja choke, a guillotine, something like that. Like even if Raquel Pennington's like winning most of the rounds, I feel like Bruno Silva does have that finishing instinct more. So, like she's more of a finisher than Raquel Pennington. So she's got that threat of getting a finish the whole time. Well, Pennington really isn't like the biggest finisher. She's more of like a split decision artist. Her last finish was Macy Shizon, and that was 2021. Outside of that, it's all decisions. A lot of them are splits. So yeah, I'm gonna go with I am actually gonna go with Bruno Silva. I think she'll get this one done. And then we got the big one, boys. We got the big fight, the fucking fight we're all waiting for, the best fight of the night. We got the main event. We got Sean Strickland versus Still Knox Dricus du Plessis. This is a really good fight. This is a fucking crazy fight, to be honest. This is a weird fight. This is the two unorthodox styles clashing together. This is what the UFC was made for. It was made for the weird styles. Like, what is the best martial art? Well, in this case, what is the best fight style? Running out like you're epileptic, swinging fucking haymakers in the air, or the cocksucker guard. You know, fucking how does even Strickland? Like the cocksucker guard, like from Sean Strickland. What is the better? What is better? So thinking about this fight, like thinking about breaking this fight down, it's like I think Dricus du Plessis is going to get this one done over Sean Strickland. Now, why do I think that? The way Sean Strickland, a lot of people say, well, Strickland's just going to jab at him when he comes forward and everything. Sean Strickland doesn't deal with pressure that well. He's a pressure fighter himself, but when he gets pressured, he sort of like freezes a little bit, puts his arms up in the air. It's like, I don't know, it's not. He doesn't really he's not really that defensively sound when he gets pressured. Now he's got very good defense. He doesn't get hit much. But that's because he's always pressuring. I think Dricus du Plessis has the sort of style where Sean Strickland's going to be the one backing up here. And I think if that is the case, I think Dricus du Plessis is going to catch Sean Strickland when he's moving backwards, and I think he's going to get him out of there. Sort of similar, but not the exact same as like the Alex Pereira fight. I think Dricus du Plessis has that different level of power to like an Israel Adesanya, where I can just see him just catching Sean Strickland out of nowhere and then getting it done. Or he even has a good advantage to just go in there and grapple. Like, Dricus du Plessis just has so many ways to win this fight. So does Sean Strickland, of course. But it's such a weird fight, man. Like, I don't know. I could be completely wrong. Maybe Sean Strickland goes in there and wrestles or fucking wins with submissions. Like, who fucking knows? It's one of those fights where you're like, what the fuck is even going to happen, you know? But Yeah, I don't fucking know at this point. I am gonna go with Dricus Duplessis though. I do think he's gonna catch Sean Strickland, but fucking anything could happen in this fight. It's a weird fight. Like, trust me, Sean Strickland will probably get a submission, or Dricus Duplessis will somehow win a fucking technical kickboxing submission or some shit. I don't even know. But anyway, that's all I've got to say on this fight. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your predictions in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Oh yeah, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Cheers.